HFY Sci-Fi series, My Mother Won't Wake Up. The desperate cry of an alien boy, only one human ran to help. The sun of Duran Prime hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the dusty market streets. Strange shapes moved through the heat, tall aliens with silver robes, traders with blinking cyber eyes, creatures on four legs and others with wings, walked side by side. It was loud, busy, alive, but in the center of it all, one small voice cried out. A young alien boy, no older than 8, stood beside a woman, lying motionless on the ground. His skin was a soft green, his eyes large and glassy. His tiny fingers tugged at her arm again and again. "Mother, wake up, please." No one stopped. The merchants turned away. A robot floated by, scanning but ignoring him. A tall creature laughed as it walked around them. "Help," the boy shouted. "Please, somebody. My mother won't wake up." Still, nothing to most. He was just another dirty child. Maybe a beggar. Maybe a trick, a trap. Some thought. Better to walk away. The boy's voice grew thin, tired, broken. "My mother, please, ... wake up." Then, someone did stop. A human. He wore dark clothes. Dust clung to his boots. His eyes were sharp, but kind. His name was Elian, and he had only arrived on Duran Prime 3 days ago. He had seen war. He had seen pain. But something in the boy's voice hit him harder than any battle. He ran. Others turned to look, but none followed. Just a human being. Foolish again, they thought. Always running into things that were not his business. Elian dropped to his knees beside the boy. The woman on the ground was breathing, but barely. Her skin was pale, her forehead burning with fever. "What happened?" Elian asked gently. The boy's lips trembled. "She fell. She just fell. And then she wouldn't move. She's never done that before." Elian touched her neck, checking for a pulse. Weak. Very weak. He pulled off his jacket and placed it under her head. Then he opened his small satchel. Inside were medical patches, energy gels, and a tool he hadn't used in years. "Hold her hand," Elian said. The boy grabbed her fingers tightly. His small hands shook. "What's your name?" "Tariq." "Well, Tariq, I'm going to try something, but I need you to be strong, okay?" Tariq nodded quickly, his eyes full of hope. Elian took out a small round device. It looked like a stone, but it hummed softly in his palm. He placed it against the woman's chest, then pressed a button. A pulse of light moved through her body. Her fingers twitched. Again, Elian whispered. He pressed the button once more. A stronger pulse this time. Her chest lifted. A shallow breath came. Then another. Tariq gasped. "She's breathing." Elian let out a slow breath. He had used the last of the device's power. He hoped it would be enough. The woman's eyes fluttered, then slowly opened. "Mother," Tariq cried, hugging her tightly. Her voice was weak, but she smiled. "I single quotes M. here." Around them, the market had grown quiet. The crowd stared. Some whispered. Others stepped back. Elian stood up, brushing dust from his knees. "You saved her," Tariq said, his eyes shining. "No one else helped, just you." Elian nodded. "She's going to need rest and water. Do you have somewhere safe to go?" Tariq looked around, then down. "We had a room, but we were asked to leave. We couldn't pay." Elian looked at the mother. She was awake, but still weak. "You can come with me," he said. "I know a place." The mother reached out and touched his arm. Her fingers were thin and trembling. "Why did you help us?" she asked. Elian paused. "Because no one else did." Her eyes locked with his. Something passed between them, not just gratitude, something deeper, a quiet connection. Tariq looked up again. "You're not like the others. You smell like earth, but you feel different." Elian smiled. "I've been told that before." Behind them, on the rooftop above the market, a dark figure stood still, watching. Listening, he touched a small device on his wrist and whispered into it. The human used it. The old tech. Just like the stories. He turned and vanished into the shadows. Far below, Elian walked away with the boy and his mother. The crowd parted, making space but keeping their distance. No cheers, no thanks. But the market was no longer the same, and neither was Elian. HFY Sci-Fi series. My Mother Won't Wake Up. The desperate cry of an alien boy. Only one human ran to help. Elian led them through the narrow streets of Duran Prime. Neon lights flickered above. Smoke from the food stalls curled in the air. Loud music played from a corner shop. But the three of them walked in silence. Tariq held his mother's hand tightly. She moved slowly, leaning on Elian for support. Her name, she said softly, was Rallan. They reached an old building, on the edge of the district. Cracked walls, a rusty door, but inside, it was clean. Safe. This place belongs to a friend, Elian said. He won't mind. He helped Rallan lie down on a simple bed. She looked tired. Her skin was still pale. Her breathing, still uneven. Tariq sat beside her, his eyes full of worry. Elian looked at the healing patch on her chest. It had worked. For now, but not for long. The damage inside her was deeper than he had thought. He opened his bag and took out a small black case. Inside was a silver device with faint blue lines. It was old, human-made, illegal on this planet. Rallan saw it and froze. You carry the touch, she whispered. Elian didn't answer. He placed the device near her neck. He hesitated. His hands were steady, but his heart was not. He remembered the last time he had used it. Years ago, a battlefield, a girl with a red scarf. He had saved her. But the next day, the enemy came. They called it cheating, unnatural. They took her anyway. He had promised himself never to use it again. But now, this woman, this boy, their eyes were the same, full of trust, full of hope. He pressed the device to her skin. A soft light spread across her body. Her chest rose, her breath deepened. Color slowly returned to her face. Tariq gasped. Mother, she opened her eyes. This time, they were clear. Bright. Elian let out a quiet breath and sat down, his back against the wall. The device powered down and turned dark. That was the last charge. Rallan sat up slowly. You shouldn't have done that, she said. I had to, Elian replied. You were dying. You don't understand, she whispered. That kind of healing ... It's not allowed here. They fear it. I know, he said. But I couldn't watch your son cry again. Tariq looked between them, confused. But he saved you. Why would anyone be angry? Rallan brushed Tariq's hair gently. Because long ago, humans used that power to end wars and to destroy empires. It's not a weapon, Elian said. It's a gift. Not everyone sees it that way, she replied. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. Not loud, just one short tap. Elian stood up quickly. He looked through the peephole. No one. Then a small drone floated up outside the window. A red light blinked on its front. It spoke with a cold, flat voice. Human alien, you are marked. You have used forbidden Terran technology. You are now being watched. Leave the city before nightfall, or face removal. The drone beeped once, then flew away. Elian closed the window slowly. Tariq looked up, his voice shaking. What does that mean? Are they coming for us? Yes, Rallan said softly. They will not just come for him. They'll come for us, too. Elian clenched his fists. I won't let them. Rallan stared at him for a long moment. Why? She asked. Because once, someone saved me too, Elian said, and no one came for her. I won't repeat that mistake. Rallan stood, her balance still, weak. She walked over to him and touched his hand. You're not like the others? I'm still human, he said. She smiled gently. Maybe, But you're something more too. Tariq watched them. He didn't understand all the words, but he saw something he hadn't seen before. His mother was standing. She was smiling. And this man, this human stranger, had done what no one else had. He had stayed outside, far above them. A shadowy figure spoke into a dark communicator. The human has used the flame, a voice answered. Then he's marked for death. Begin the hunt. HFY Sci-Fi series, My Mother Won't Wake Up. The desperate cry of an alien boy, only one human ran to help. The sky above Diran Prime turned red as the second sun dipped behind the spires. Lights flickered on across the city. From above, the city looked calm. But inside Elian's borrowed room, nothing felt safe. He stood in front of a cracked mirror, shirtless, staring at the red mark glowing on his right shoulder. It wasn't there before. It pulsed like a slow heartbeat, warm, alive. He touched it. It burned. Rollin stood behind him, arms crossed. Her expression was unreadable. "That's not just a mark," she said quietly. "That's a tracker." Ellie nodded. "I figured. They branded you. That's what they do to enemies of the Syndicate." Elian glanced over his shoulder. "I didn't declare war. You healed me. That was enough." Tariq sat nearby, hugging his knees. He had not spoken since the drone left. He just stared at the mark on Elian's skin. It scared him. "Why are they so afraid of you?" he finally asked. Elian turned to face him. "Because they think I'm something dangerous." "Are you?" Tariq whispered. Elian knelt down and looked the boy in the eyes. "No, but I might have to be." Rallin walked closer. She placed her hand near the mark, not touching it, just feeling the heat. "I've only seen one other person survive a Syndicate brand." "Who?" Elian asked. She hesitated. "My brother, a long time ago. He helped a group of humans escape capture during the Tech Wars. The Syndicate caught him, marked him, then erased him." Elian stood up. "Well, I'm not ready to be erased." "We can run," Tariq said. "We can hide." Elian shook his head. "They'll find us, no matter where we go. This mark doesn't just track location. It tells them everything about me. Heart rate, stress, fear." "Then we fight," Rallin said. Her voice was calm, strong. Elian raised an eyebrow. "You want to fight the Syndicate?" "I don't want to," she said. "But I will. Because they took everything from me before, and they'll do it again if we let them." There was silence for a moment. Then Elian walked to his bag and opened a hidden pouch. He pulled out a metal cube with a glowing line across the top. When he tapped it, the cube unfolded into a small screen and keyboard. "What is that?" Tariq asked. "It's old Terran tech," Elian replied. "It'll help me wipe the signal from the mark." "You can do that?" Rallin asked. "I can try." He sat down and began typing. The screen flashed. Symbols rolled across it. He worked fast, fingers moving with practiced skill. But the moment he connected to the system, a loud beep rang through the room. "Warning. Access denied. Target locked." The screen went dark. Elian cursed under his breath. "They've already linked it to the city grid." "What does that mean?" Tariq asked. "It means the Syndicate knows exactly where I am, and they're coming." Rallin grabbed her cloak and wrapped it around Tariq. "We need to move." "No," Elian said. "Running will only lead them to others. We need somewhere with shielding, somewhere they can't scan." Ralin's eyes narrowed. "There is one place where—" She hesitated, then spoke. "The old Terran outpost, deep in the outer ruins. They say it's haunted. No one goes there." Elian smiled faintly. "Perfect." They packed quickly. Tariq carried a small bag of food. Rallin walked slowly, still weak, but her eyes burned with focus. Elian walked ahead, scanning the shadows, his body tense as they left the room. A flash of red light blinked from the rooftop far away. In a black chamber deep beneath the city, the Syndicate's leader looked at a screen. Eliane's face glowed red. The voice of a hunter echoed in the chamber. Mark is active. Target is moving. The leader's voice was cold. Let him run. Let him think he has time. The flame will burn out soon. Back in the streets, Eliane moved. Fast through alleys and side roads, keeping to the shadows. The glowing mark on his arm dimmed slightly, but he could still feel it pulsing. Tariq looked up at him. Why are you helping us? You could have left. Eliane didn't answer right away. Then he said quietly, because when I was your age, I cried for help too, and no one came. Tariq took his hand. I'm glad you came for me. Rowland watched them both. The night air was cold, but something warm moved in her chest. A feeling she hadn't known in years. Hope. They disappeared into the dark, toward the ruins, toward the unknown, but none of them saw the figure watching from the rooftops. It followed them, silent, patient. The hunt had begun. HFY Sci-Fi series, My Mother Won't Wake Up. The desperate cry of an alien boy. Only one human ran to help. The wind howled across the broken land outside Duran Prime. Old buildings stood like bones under the pale moons. Metal scraps littered the ground. Rusted towers reached toward the sky, long forgotten. This was once a Terran outpost, a base for human explorers. Before the Syndicate rose to power, now it was a graveyard. Eliane stepped through the tall, broken gates. Tariq followed close behind, holding his mother's hand. Rowland looked around, her eyes scanning every shadow. This place feels wrong, she whispered. It feels quiet, Eliane said. That's what we need right now. He led them into the main bunker. Dust covered the floor. A cracked control panel blinked faintly in one corner. Eliane tapped a button. The lights flickered, then stayed on. Still has power, he said. That's a good sign. Rowland helped Tariq sit down on an old bench. She pulled a blanket over him and gave him a small packet of food. He was tired, but he didn't complain. Eliane walked over to the main console. It was damaged, but not dead. With careful hands, he reconnected a few wires. The screen lit up. Welcome, Terran user. A mechanical voice spoke from the wall. ID confirmed. Flame signature detected. Rebooting systems. Tariq's eyes widened. It knows you. Eliane stared at the screen. The words on it sent a chill down his spine. Access granted. User, Eliane Daverin. Lineage, Flameborn. Rowland stepped closer. Flameborn. That word. I've heard it before. It's not something we talk about, Eliane said quietly. But, what is it? Eliane looked away. A long time ago, humans created a living force inside certain people. We called it the Flame. It allowed us to heal faster, think faster, even survive things no one else could. But it also made us targets. The Syndicate fears it, Rowland said. They destroyed the program, Eliane replied. Killed everyone. They could find my parents died running from them. Tariq looked up, voice small. So, ... you're the last. Eliane nodded once. Before anyone could speak again, a loud sound cracked through the room. The walls shook. A small drone shot through the air vent and hovered above them. It played a message. Human, Eliane Daverin. This is your final warning. The voice was deep, cold, full of control. You carry the flame. You bring danger to this planet. You will not be allowed to spread it. Leave Duran Prime by sunrise, or we will erase you. The drone turned toward Rowland and Tariq, and the ones you protect. It beeped once, then self-destructed in a small flash of smoke. Eliane shielded the boy with his body. No one was hurt, but the message was clear. Rowland stood, eyes blazing. They're going to kill us. Eliane didn't move. He stared at the smoking drone parts on the floor. They're scared. That's why they're warning me. They're giving you a chance, Rowland said. They're giving me a choice, Eliane replied. Run and live in shame, or fight and risk everything. Tariq stepped forward. I don't want you to leave. I won't, Elian said. You don't have to fight them alone, Rallan added. Elian looked at her. Her face was calm, brave. You still have strength, he said. I have something stronger than that now, she replied. I have a reason. Their eyes locked. The silence between them wasn't empty. It was full of something new. Trust. Elian turned back to the console. He typed a short command. Activate defense protocol. A secret door opened behind the wall. Inside was a narrow chamber glowing with soft blue light. What is this? Rallan asked. Elian stepped inside. This is what they're afraid of. The walls lit up. A suit of ancient armor rose from the floor, sleek, strong, forged by Earth's greatest minds. The flame armor. Elian touched the chest plate. It opened with a hiss. Only a flameborn can wear it, he said. Will it protect you? Tariq asked. It will protect all of us, Elian replied. He stepped into the armor. As it sealed around him, the lights in the room flared. The mark on his shoulder vanished. Tariq smiled. You look like a hero. Elian knelt down and placed a hand on his shoulder. I'm not a hero. I'm just someone who finally stopped running. Outside, the shadows moved closer. Syndicate hunters gathered at the edge of the ruins. But this time, Elian wasn't alone. This time, humanity would fight back. HFY Sci-Fi series. My Mother Won't Wake Up. The desperate cry of an alien boy. Only one human ran to help. The armor hummed softly as it sealed around Alien's body. The blue glow in the chest plate faded into a quiet pulse. Was old, but alive, waiting, watching. He stood still for a moment, eyes closed. The moment he opened them, he felt it. Strength, focus, a calm fire inside him. Tariq stared with wide eyes. You don't even look like a human now. Elian looked at him and smiled. I feel more human than ever. Rallan stepped forward. She touched the side of the armor gently. Her fingers trembled, not with fear, but with awe. My people told stories about this. We called it the second skin. They said it burned cities. Elian shook his head. It protected them. It wasn't built to destroy. It was built to save. Tariq turned toward the door. Will it keep them out? For a while, Elian said, but not forever. They'll come with machines, guns, blades, whatever they think will stop me. Then what do we do? Rallan asked. Elian walked to the center of the room and opened a hidden panel. Inside were old data chips, weapons, and a small glowing cube. He held it up. This base is more than a ruin. It's a shelter, built to hold out against full siege. You think we can hold them off? She asked. Long enough, he replied. Long enough for me to do what I came here for. She raised an eyebrow. What did you come here for, Elian? He looked at her. His voice was steady. To finish what my people started. To prove that humanity wasn't just feared. It was needed. Tariq picked up a small device from the open panel. What's this? Elian smiled. A shield drone. Smart boy. He showed Tariq how to activate it. The small device floated into the air, scanning for threats. I want to help, the boy said. I'm not afraid anymore. Rallan's voice was gentle, but firm. You'll help by staying close to me. I can fight, he said. I know, she replied. But not yet. Elian looked at them both. The boy's courage, the mother's strength. It reminded him of what humanity had lost. Not power, not weapons, but family, purpose, love. He opened another chamber. This one held something different. A pod, half buried in dust. It flickered as he approached. The AI inside powered up. A soft female voice filled the room. Welcome back, Elian Devirian. I've missed you. Rallan stepped back. What is that? This is Nova, Elian said. She's an old Earth AI. My grandfather built her. She watched over our people during the Exodus. Nova's voice was calm and warm. Your vitals are stable. Armor synced. Genetic key confirmed. Shall I begin defense lockdown? Yes, Elian said, and scan for syndicate movement. Scanning, she replied. Tariq leaned closer. She single quotes kind. Nova responded. I am designed to protect, especially children. He smiled. Nova, continued. Multiple hostiles approaching. 23 life signs. Syndicate units confirmed. Arrival in 7 minutes. Elian's jaw tightened. They're moving faster than I thought. Rallan placed a hand on his arm. Then we fight. Now. Elian turned to her. No. You and Tariq stay in the shelter chamber. It's the most protected part of the base. I'm not hiding while you bleed, she said. He looked at her. You won't be hiding. You'll be surviving. Their eyes met, long, silent. Finally, she nodded, but before she left, she stepped closer and did something unexpected. She kissed his forehead, soft, slow, full of meaning. For luck, she said. Elian swallowed. Thanks. She led Tariq to the shelter room and locked the door behind them. The walls were thick, blast-proof, safe. Elian walked to the entrance of the bunker. The armor adjusted around him. Lights lit up along the arms and chest. His hands glowed softly. The flame inside him burned steady. Outside. Red eyes blinked in the darkness. The syndicate had arrived. Nova spoke in his ear. Would you like me to play music, Elian? He smiled. Something old, something earth. She played a slow piano melody. Gentle, sad, beautiful. As the music played, Elian stood alone in the doorway. One man, one flame, but not afraid. Not anymore. HFY Sci-Fi series. My mother won't wake up. The desperate cry of an alien boy. Only one human ran to help. Smoke drifted low across the broken land outside the bunker. The syndicate forces moved like shadows. Silent, precise, trained hunters. Each armed with shock rifles, gravity clamps, and mind scan tech. Their mission was clear. Capture the human. Destroy the outpost. Erase the flame. Inside, Elian stood tall in the doorway. His armor glowed with a pale blue fire. The wind tugged at the dust beneath his feet. He felt the weight of the moment. And yet, he was calm. Nova's voice echoed in his ear. They are in range. I see them, Elian replied. He stepped out, into the open. The lead syndicate soldier raised his rifle. Elian Davering, the voice boomed through a voice amp. You carry forbidden power? Remove the armor. Surrender the AI. You will be judged fairly. Elian didn't move. You call this judgment? You send death squads to silence one man. You are not one man, the voice said. You are a threat. Elian's hand closed into a fist. No, I'm a reminder that humans don't kneel just because you whisper fear. One of the syndicate soldiers fired. The blast struck. Elian's chest, it sparked, then faded. The armor held. Elian raised his hand. The flame inside him ignited, not like fire, not wild, not angry. It was calm, bright, alive. He moved forward fast. The first syndicate guard didn't even see the punch coming. He flew backwards, landing hard in the dirt. The next two raised their weapons, but Elian was already between them. A single strike to the ground sent a shockwave outward. Nova's voice guided him. Left flank. 2 incoming. Boost now. Elian triggered the armor's thrusters and jumped high. He landed behind the flank and disabled their weapons with a single strike. Back inside the bunker, Rallan and Tariq watched the battle unfold on a screen. Tariq pressed his hands to the glass. He's winning. Ralin's heart pounded. No, he's surviving. That's not the same thing. Outside, Elian was bleeding. The armor was powerful, but not perfect. A blade had cut through the side, near his ribs. His breathing grew heavier. His vision blurred for a second. Then he remembered the boy's voice. You came from me. He stood up, even stronger. The flame burned brighter, not for vengeance, for protection, for love. The syndicate leader stepped forward, now. He was taller than the rest. His armor was black with red symbols carved across the front. He raised a long blade. "I will extinguish your bloodline," he said coldly. "You can try," Elian answered. They clashed, steel against steel, light against shadow. Elian moved like he had trained for this moment all his life, because maybe he had. The syndicate leader landed a blow across Elian's shoulder. Sparks flew. Elian fell to one knee. "You're fading," the enemy hissed. Elian looked up, double quotes, "No, I'm remembering." He stood tall. He remembered Earth. He remembered his mother's voice, the one that told him to be kind, even when the world wasn't. He remembered the girl he loved, long gone now, who once said, "You carry the flame, not for war, for healing." Elian grabbed the enemy's blade with both hands. The flame poured from his palms. The blade melted. The leader stumbled back, stunned. Elian struck with one final punch. The red symbols on the armor shattered. The leader dropped, and did not rise again. Silence followed. The other syndicate troops stepped back, one by one. They lowered their weapons. They had seen strength. But more than that, they had seen something the syndicate feared most. A human who refused to hate, beckon. The bunker, the door opened. Tariq ran out, straight into Elian's arms. "You did it," he cried. Elian laughed, even through the pain. "We did it." Rylan reached them, her eyes full of tears. "You're hurt. I'll heal," he said. She placed her hands on his armor, then slowly leaned in. This time, she didn't kiss his forehead. She kissed his lips. It was soft, brief, but full of truth. Nova's voice spoke gently. Flame levels stabilizing, vital signs holding, victory confirmed. Elian looked out at the horizon. The sun was rising, and for the first time in years, it felt like it meant something. HFY Sci-Fi series, My Mother Won't Wake Up. The desperate cry of an alien boy. Only one human ran to help. The battlefield was silent now. No more footsteps, no more gunfire. Just wind moving through broken metal and scorched earth. The syndicate soldiers had vanished, carrying their wounded and their fallen leader into the shadows. None of them looked back. Inside the bunker, Nova's voice echoed softly through the room. Threat cleared, energy stable, flame signature holding. Strong. Elian sat on a bench, his armor peeled open across the chest. Cuts marked his skin, and dried blood darkened his shirt. But his eyes were clear. Alive. Tariq sat beside him, bandaging a small cut on Elian's arm. "You're bad at dodging," the boy said. Elian smiled. "I was buying time." "Next time, maybe let me help," Tariq said proudly. Rylan stood nearby, mixing herbs into a cup of steaming water. She handed it to Elian. "It'll help with the pain." He took it. "Thanks." There was a long silence between them. Not heavy, just peaceful. After everything they had survived, even silence felt like a gift. Rylan finally spoke. "So, what now?" Elian looked up at her. "I can't stay." Face fell. "You're leaving." "I have to," Elian said. "There's more out there. Other places the syndicate still controls. Other children crying for help like you did." Rylan lowered her eyes. Her voice was quiet. "Will we ever see you again?" Elian stood slowly. He reached into the pouch on his side and pulled out a small silver disc. He handed it to her. "It's a beacon, only to exist. I'll carry one, you carry the other. If you ever need Marili, need me press the center, I'll come." She held it in both hands, gently, as if it were fragile. Then she looked up. "I don't want to need you to come. I just want you to come back." He didn't answer right away. Then he stepped closer and placed his forehead against hers. "I will." Tariq stood and hugged Illy tightly. "Promise me something," the boy said. "Anything. Tell everyone out there that we're not just weak aliens." Tell them we helped a human fight. Eliane knelt and placed both hands on Tariq's shoulders. You're not weak. You're braver than most humans I've known. Tariq smiled wide. Behind them, Nova's voice spoke again. Ship prepared. Coordinates set. Earth route active. Rallin raised her head. You're going back to Earth? Eliane nodded. Not forever. Just long enough to remind them of something they've forgotten. Remind them of what she asked. He looked into her eyes. That humanity still has a heart. Outside, the skies were clear. The stars blinked softly in the distance. Eliane walked toward the launch pad behind the ruins. The armor reshaped around him. Nova's systems synced to his core. The ship rose from beneath the ground. Sleek, ancient, still, powerful. He stepped inside and turned back one last time. Rallin stood at the edge of the platform, wind in her hair. Tariq stood beside her, waving. Eli raised his hand. He didn't need to speak. They knew. They would wait. He would return. The engines glowed bright. The ship lifted. And then, he was gone. Through the clouds, through the stars, through silence, back to Earth. To remind the universe that the flame still burned, and that sometimes one human was enough.